President Biden is scheduled to speak about this new variant later this morning. Yesterday, he met with Dr. Anthony Fauci and the COVID-19 response team to get an update. And travel restrictions from 8 African countries to the U.S. go into effect today. Let's bring in NBC News correspondent Mike Memoli. So, Mike, good morning. How concerned is the White House about this, and what came out of that meeting yesterday?
Well, Lindsay, to put it bluntly, anything that concerns the American people concerns this White House. You saw before the Thanksgiving holiday, the White House trying to get a little bit more proactive as it relates to some other issues that were concerning the American people, including inflation and supply chain challenges, including the release of fuel from the National Strategic Petroleum Reserve. But we're also now seeing the president, before the Thanksgiving holiday, talk about how far we'd come in the pandemic, comparing the way Americans were gathered for Thanksgiving holiday in a way that they hadn't been the year before. But now you saw the president returning from his traditional Thanksgiving getaway in Nantucket, meeting immediately with his COVID response team to try to show that they're getting ahead of this situation. And that's what we heard from the president afterwards in the form of a readout from the White House was two things. One, that he heard from Dr. Fauci that we really need to wait for more information. It's going to be at least 2 weeks until we get the really full information about just how transmissible this is and the severity of this, including whether the vaccines hold up. But at this stage, it was the president's readout that we do expect that these vaccines are largely going to be effective against the virus, but clearly another jolt to the system that for a White House that didn't need another one at this point.
Do you expect that the president will be more warning the people, American people, saying what we know, what we don't know, trying to calm fears, or do you expect also new restrictions will be announced?
Well, what we've seen from this White House is that, as the president himself has said, he is always going to speak straight to the American people about what we know, what we don't know, and about the measures that need to happen here. But we already know that the White House was preparing for a fall surge, a winter surge of the virus, especially given the holidays when people tend to gather, people are inside more. And so what we're likely to hear from the president, according to White House officials, is sort of following the best practices that have already been laid out. Get your booster if you're eligible, if you're able to at this point. Get vaccinated if you hadn't done this at this point. What the White House was already battling was a lot of jurisdictions, including here in D.C., had started lifting things like mask mandates in public places. And so now they're going to be urging Americans to do all the known best practices to try to avoid transmission of any variant here.
And it could be a challenge. It's not just healthcare workers that are burned out. The American public as well. They're tired of the pandemic. Mike, thanks so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.